Hi, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Scores, and I'm coming with one of those Rico reports where we talk about a lot of random stuff. Most importantly, we got to talk about why this Colts game means so much to Terry Mclaurin. Also, Rivera basically said that Jahan Dotson is expected to be out versus the Colts. We got to talk about that. Of course, I'm going to give a big-time injury update for both the Colts and the Commander side based on what happened in practice today. Who didn't participate, who participated but was limited, who participated in full, all of that, again, for both sides, Commanders and Colts. Also, Ron Rivera gave a very optimistic update to Chase Young, so we got to talk about that. And, of course, a lot of really random stuff, like random stats, random info out of nowhere, man. I'm telling y'all, this is about to be a really random Rico report, but y'all know how Rico reports go. They're always pretty random. But before we dive into all of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification immediately. And every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one, make sure you pull up every Sunday for the play-by-play live analysis and breakdown of every Commander regular season game, and I'm speaking it into existence postseason games as well. I'm gonna break down everything that's going on throughout the game. Of course, I'm gonna analyze stuff. We're gonna laugh together. We're gonna do everything. So make sure you pull up every Sunday, including this upcoming Sunday, for this 4:25 p.m. matchup against the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. But let's go ahead and get to it, man. Let's get it. All right, so first of all, I'm happy to see that Ron Rivera is back. Remember, Jack Del Rio had to take over yesterday. He had to run the press conference. He had to run the practice. And it's obvious, Jack Del Rio has been a head coach in the NFL before for years. So that was a seamless transition, like going from Ron Rivera to Jack Del Rio as far as running practices and addressing the media and things like that. It's pretty much like we didn't miss a step. So I wasn't worried about that, but I'm very worried about Ron Rivera because he had to hurry up and rush over to California yesterday to handle a family problem. Apparently it's something to deal with Mama Rivera, so definitely make sure y'all keep her in y'all prayers. I hope everything is fine. I hope everything's okay. Rivera looked pretty chill in the press conference today. I really, first and foremost, more than anything else in this video, hope everything is okay as far as that goes. But welcome back, Ron Rivera, man. Good to have you back. Also, Rivera at some point in this press conference said that Chase Young will start his 21-day window to return next week. He visited Dr. Andrews today, and they said, quote, everything is positive, unquote. So, man, Chase Young may get him back for this Vikings game. I wouldn't bet money on it. And if not the Vikings game, maybe the Eagles game in Philadelphia. Because we're probably going to need him to win that game. I'm not going to lie. That's great news. The fact that he's going to start practicing probably as soon as this upcoming Wednesday, and Rivera basically said it's pretty much a done deal. He got good news from a doctor last week, and then they were waiting until today until he met with another doctor to get positive news. That doctor said everything is a go, so we should get Chase Young back practicing at the very least by Wednesday. But if he's starting to practice for the first time this NFL season Wednesday, I doubt he plays Sunday at 1 p.m. against the Vikings. So then maybe he'll come back and play after a slightly long week Monday night the following week, going from November 6th against the Vikings to November 14th against the Eagles, 8:15 p.m. Monday Night Football, which would give him like a week and a half to get ready for. So I think that's the more than likely solution. But again, the fact that we're getting him back at practice, like he's going to be out there with everybody else, pads on, drills, tackling, go against the offensive line, all of that type of stuff, and I'm so excited. I hate the fact that I've talked about Chase Young so much recently because I don't want people to think I'm just out here like, man, I got to talk about Chase Young every day for views and stuff like that. No, first of all, I'm just genuinely excited to get him back. He's one of my favorite players on the team, and I just really feel like I said, our defense has been very suffocating, but they have not caused turnovers. You got to cause turnovers to be an elite defense. We're good at getting people off the field on third downs. We're good at forcing them to punt the ball, and we play bend but don't break defense when we get to the red zone. But we need somebody that's going to be out here causing strip sacks and getting to the quarterback quick enough to cause them to panic and maybe throw some more interceptions. We need that to become an elite defense. I feel like Chase Young is that last piece, that last missing piece, that just that little bit of havoc that he's going to bring, that extra explosion he's going to bring, and then also his personality and his passion. And then two, I'm just trying to update y'all on everything that I'm getting from Rivera, from reporters close to the organization. I'm not just making stuff up every day. These are constant updates that just happen to be coming out almost every day. But today is like the best news we received on Chase Young in over a year, because he will begin to actually full-blown practice with the team again, pads on and everything, as of Wednesday potentially, according to Ron Rivera. So we'll see how that goes. Again, Chase Young said that he had to meet with doctors and everything was positive. He had a heavy work day on Sunday. They put more on him than they normally do, and so they waited until today, as in Thursday, to see how he feels after that. And the doctor said he's really good. The doctor literally said, quote, very happy, unquote, with the defensive end's progress. Rivera said, quote, the doctor is very happy with it, unquote. Remember, he was placed on the reserve physically unable to perform list, the PUP list, before week 1, meaning that he had to miss a minimum of 4 games. But now this is carried on into the minimum 8 games, because this Colts game is the 8th game, and then the Vikings is the 9th, Eagles is the 10th. He may play by the 10th one. Technically, he could have returned for the Titans game, but he just wasn't ready health-wise. But the team is being overly cautious. They're taking their time, and I'm happy about it, man. I'm so excited, because once they activate him off of the PUP list, they have 21 days to actually officially put him onto the 53-man roster, where he'll take up a roster spot. So that means we're gonna have to move somebody off the team, either send them to the practice squad or release them. And once he's taken up a roster spot, he's playing. But they have 21 days of not putting him on the roster where he can practice. But we'll see, because when Brian Robinson came back after getting shot and he was able to practice, he played that very next game. Again, I doubt that Chase Young is going to be able to do that against the Vikings, but I think, and I'm pretty optimistic about the fact that he'll probably play against the Eagles. But the fact that that 21-day window is open is a really good sign, because since there's a deadline to it, you start that deadline, and that means they're optimistic enough that he should be able to play soon. The fact that they're even willing to start that deadline, because there's no rush to start the deadline. There's no advantage of just starting that 21 deadline if he's not ready. So apparently he's very ready, and if they feel like he should be able to play within 21 days, that's great news. At the very least, we should definitely see him before Thanksgiving. But again, I think he'll play against the Eagles. Also, in sad news, Ron Rivera gave an update on Jahan Dotson, basically saying that the receiver's hamstring is still tight, and so he'll more than likely not play Sunday. So just go ahead and assume he's out. We haven't seen him in a few games, and we definitely miss him out there. But I think with the way that the Colts are basically in shambles right now, and Sam Ehlinger is getting his first NFL career start, I think we should be able to go in there and win without Chase Young and Jahan Dotson, honestly. Also, before we dive into this injury report, Danny Johnson was signed from the practice squad all the way to the 53-man roster. So that's really interesting. He'll be some defensive back depth. He may be some returner depth as well. I mean, Antonio Gibson on kickoffs is the move. We should have been did that. But maybe Danny Johnson will compete with Dax Milne for that punt return job. We'll see. But Antonio Gibson got that kickoff return game on lock. Got to. And then as far as practice today for the Commanders and the Colts, starting with the Commanders, as far as guys that did not participate in practice today, you have Sadiq Charles still with his illness, but I think he'll play against the Colts. It's non-COVID related as reported by the team. Jahan Dotson, of course, with his hamstring injury, still struggling with that, more than likely won't play against the Colts. Cole Holcomb still dealing with a foot injury. They asked Jamin Davis in practice what his role will be if Cole Holcomb can't go. He pretty much said it'll be the same thing. Somebody else like a David Mayo will probably step up and take over Cole Holcomb's responsibilities. Jamin Davis will continue to basically be like a will side linebacker type of thing. And then, of course, William Jackson with his back injury did not participate today. I mean, none of these guys have participated at any point all week. Cole Turner dealing with his concussion hasn't participated in practice all week as well. Then you had limited wise De'Ami Brown, Logan Thomas, and Jonathan Williams. So there's a chance that either of those 3 guys, maybe all 3 of them, play against the Colts. We'll see. And then practicing in full, Samuel Cosmi with his finger injury, still dealing with the club, but it seems like he'll probably end up playing against the Colts with or without it. Taylor Heineke, good to go, calf injury, he's good. And then Jonathan Allen just finally had a rest day today, so don't worry about him. He did not participate in practice today technically, but he's good to go, no injury. And then on the Colts end, like I said yesterday, Yannick Ngakoue and Stephon Gilmore just took a rest day. Just like how Jonathan Allen took one today, they took one yesterday, as in Wednesday, and they were full participants in practice today, so they're good to go. And then Grover Stewart did not participate in practice because of rest today, like Jonathan Allen. Now going to their real did not participate in guys that may not end up playing against us when we play the Colts this upcoming Sunday are Kwity Paye, Grant Stewart, and then of course Matt Ryan, who's hurt and benched, so he wasn't going to play regardless. And then everybody else practiced in full. Even some of the guys that were limited yesterday, everybody else is a full participant, so they're fairly healthy as a team, especially compared to us. You have JoJo Damon, Ryan Kelly, Kiki Kuti, Zaire Franklin, Shaquille Leonard, Luke Rhodes. All of those guys participated in practice fully today, so they're all a good go. So once again, we're the more hurt team in our matchup. I mean, really the only team that was even close to us and maybe just as hurt of us, maybe even a little bit more hurt, were the Tennessee Titans. Other than that, we've been the most hurt team on these injury reports leading up to every game this season. It's crazy. But we're still 3-4, so we're putting it together, and we should be getting Jahan Dotson and Chase Young back within the next couple of weeks, and then Logan Thomas and all of these other guys should eventually be getting back healthier and healthier. Samuel Cosmi, maybe we'll get Wes Schweitzer back soon. Cole Turner, hopefully if he recovers from his concussion injury, hopefully that's not something that lasts too long. De'Ami Brown has missed a few games, and now he's finally participating in practice, even though it's limited. We're getting a lot of guys back healthy, which is really good. Now moving on to Terry and why this game means so much to him. Well, first of all, he already said he's expecting around 70 or so friends and family members to attend this first game back in Indianapolis. This is his first time playing in Indianapolis since we drafted him a few years ago. So this is big for him, man. He's born and raised Indiana and all of that, so this is very huge for him. This could potentially be his best game in his career because he's going to show out and do everything he needs to do. And I just feel like Taylor Heinicke and Scott Turner are good enough guys to where they're even going to force him the ball to give him opportunities to have his best game in his career. So I really feel sorry for Stephon Gilmore because he's probably going to be the one matched up against him. And remember, back when Stephon Gilmore won Defensive Player of the Year a few years ago, Terry McLaurin was killing him. It just sucked because the quarterback at the time, it may have been Haskins, was like not seeing him or missing him completely. I don't remember if it was Haskins or Alex Smith. Somebody, whoever the quarterback was pretty much selling Terry McLaurin that game, but he was open all the time, and Stephon Gilmore was out there panicking for his life. And it was the year that Stephon Gilmore won Defensive Player of the Year. It was when he was at his best, and Terry McLaurin was giving him the business. I can't even imagine how much work Terry McLaurin about to give him in front of 70 friends and family in person. This is literally the game that means the most to him out of any game he's played so far in his NFL career. I'm really afraid for those Colts DBs. Also, interesting fact, Terry McLaurin won high school and college titles on the Indianapolis Colts fields. So now this is his first time returning as an NFL starter. Also, a fun fact, Terry McLaurin has never lost a game in Lucas Oil Stadium. So it sounds like that's very good luck for us to go in there and get that win. Whenever Terry McLaurin plays in Indianapolis, he wins. I mean, even just how dominant his combine was. I mean, looking at Ohio State film, I knew he was fast, but then with the combine being in Indianapolis, he showed out, ran a faster 40 time than even I expected with him coming out of the draft. He just performs in Indianapolis, man. It's definitely a good luck charm, but it's also probably strong motivation. Whenever he's home, I think most people give it their all pretty much every game, but at home is just a little bit different. You go from 100% to 110%. I know I would be. If I played for whatever franchise and I came back to Atlanta to play, oh yeah, I'm showing. Now, I'm celebrating. I'm doing everything. I'm pulling out all my best moves, every trick in the bag. I'm thinking Terry McLaurin's probably going to do the same thing, especially if history repeats itself, because again, he performs in Indianapolis no matter what's going on. And then also, here's a small interview with him talking about how much this game matters to him, because don't take my word for it. I tried to give you some information, but here's some of it from the man himself. Here you go.
You know, I try to do a good job of just focus on what's really important. Winning this game is the most important thing, but I'd be lying if I say it's not kind of cool to be able to go back to where I grew up, kind of where my affinity of football started. Was fortunate to win a few state championships in Indianapolis, that stadium, win a few Big Ten championships in that stadium. Grew up a Colts fan, sitting in Section 540 with my dad. So I had a lot of memories about Indianapolis, and it's going to be cool to be able to be on the field, you know what I mean? Like really, as an opposing player, that's kind of crazy. But it's reflecting on that is like how blessed I've been, how good God's been in my life, and you just never know where your journey's going to be. You couldn't have told me when I was 7 years old that I wouldn't be playing in the NFL, And to be able to come back and share that moment with my family and my close friends, that's going to be pretty cool. But, at the end of the day, I want to win this game. I want to keep our win streak going.
So you can truly see why this game means so much to him. And I really hope we go out there and not only get the dub, but I want him to be a big reason for it. I want him to catch 200 yards, 2 touchdown passes. I want it to be that magical and amazing for him, something he never forgets. I want to be shedding tears by the end of this game by how great of a game he had. I want to see him be able to embrace his dad, his mom, everybody, like I did it, I made it type of thing. I'm really rooting for him, man. I really hope he goes out there and balls out, man. If any game this season, I hope this is the one, man. And now on to a bunch of random stuff before we get up out of here. Speaking of Terry McLaurin's 37-yard touchdown catch was the most improbable reception of week 7, according to Next Gen Stats. The completion probability of 19.8%. His 11th career reception with a completion probability of under 25%. Tied for the most in the NFL since 2019 with Mike Williams. Only him and Mike Williams. So basically, he's the best contested catch receiver in the NFL. These catches should just not be made. The coverage is great. The ball may not be the most accurate, even though on this play specifically, the 37-yard touchdown from Heinicke, that was probably Heinicke's best throw of his life, definitely of his NFL career that I've seen. But what I really take from that is that Terry McLaurin makes the toughest catches in the NFL. Him and Mike Williams are in a league of their own since 2019. Also, NFC East attendance averages to date right now, the Cowboys are first with 93,000 per game, Giants 76,000 per game, Eagles 70,000 per game, and then the Commanders 59,000 per game. Also, the Commanders come in at number 28 according to the NFL.com power rankings. I mean, I'm surprised by how low it is, especially with us being on a 2-game win streak. But hey, we got to go out there and earn respect, man. We got to go out there and go on an even longer win streak. Because I feel like even after beating the Colts with Sam Ehlinger as a starting quarterback, national analysts aren't going to give us any credit, especially with us sitting at 4-4. So we got to go win that Vikings game to truly put ourselves on the map, and for NFL analysts to kind of take a step back, like maybe the Commanders are something serious. And if they're in last place of the NFC East and they look that good, this is easily the best division in football by far type of thing. So we got to go out there and beat the Colts and the Vikings. We got to handle business, man. Also, here's some pictures from the Logan Thomas Halloween party that a lot of Commanders players attended, especially Taylor Heinicke. Apparently, Logan Thomas and Taylor Heinicke are like best friends, and they went together dressed as Austin Powers. Well, Taylor Heinicke was Austin Powers. Logan Thomas right there, I know it's hard to see, but he was Fat Bastard. And I just thought that was pretty cool. I didn't even know Taylor Heinicke and Logan Thomas were like that close. So I just thought that was really cool to include that. Also, Antonio Gibson had a quote either today or yesterday. He said, "I'm getting real close to breaking one," unquote, when they interviewed him in the locker room and they asked him about how he feels about kickoffs and things like that. He feels like he's really close to finally taking one to the house, and I believe him, man. I think he can do it before this season ends, and I'm really excited about it. Also, in very random news, and it's actually crazy too, because we were talking about this on my stream during that Packers game. Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson were basically competing about who was the tallest, and really there's just good vibes all throughout the locker room right now. Everybody's so happy, and people are interviewing people about the silliest of stuff. And so Brian Robinson, outside of even just them having a height competition and trying to see who's the tallest, and I think Antonio Gibson cheated because Brian Robinson didn't have shoes on, Antonio Gibson did or something like that, but they were both talking about how the DMV needs more Waffle Houses. First of all, I didn't even know the DMV had a Waffle House. I didn't know there was a Waffle House past North Carolina, but I mean, I just didn't know. But they were both talking about the DMV needs more Waffle Houses, so if there are any, y'all just don't have enough, because here we have more Waffle Houses than McDonald's in Atlanta. I mean, we're literally the home of Waffle House, so I mean, of course, but I just thought that was funny that two country boys, Antonio Gibson from the metro Atlanta area, Brian Robinson from Alabama, just the thought of them hitting the DMV, getting drafted, being excited about football, then going out to get something to eat, and they're like, where is Waffle House? Y'all don't have no Waffle Houses out here? So I thought that was funny. And then they also talked about what we talked about in the stream about who eats Church's chicken. People from the South, I don't know anybody else that really eats Church's chicken like that. I seen 21 Savage talk about it one time or something like that, but none of my friends eat Church's chicken. There's just too many other good food options. So we were talking about that in the stream. Some people in the stream said they eat Church's chicken. It was mostly a DMV thing though, because most of y'all are from the DMV, so a lot of y'all were saying some of y'all did, some of y'all didn't, but I haven't had Church's chicken in years, and again, I don't know a single person that has. So not trying to get down on Church's chicken, but I just thought that was a funny debate because we were just talking about that during the stream against the Packers, and then a few days later, Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson are talking about it like Church's Chicken. People eat there? Out of all the options we got in the South, y'all eating at Church's Chicken type of thing. So I just thought that was fun. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video, even the Church's Chicken part. But of course, not having Jahan Dotson for another week, how much this game means to Terry Mclaurin. Chase Young starting to practice with the team as of Wednesday. That's ridiculously great news. Y'all do not understand how excited I am about it. I know I keep talking about Chase Young, but I'm really excited about him coming back. And then, man, anything else I talked about in this video that you may want to talk about, I will be in the comment section. I try to read every comment, but sometimes I can't, but I really try to. And of course, please leave a like on this video if you liked it, if you learned anything. Of course, I appreciate all of the support, man. Shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors. Name you see scrolling on the screen right now. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.